Good morning, everyone. It's 10 o'clock, so as people are still joining, we're going to go ahead and start. Let me just start by introducing myself. My name is Kathy Logsdon. I'm the Sales and Marketing Director here at Epworth Villa. And I want to direct you to the bottom of the screen where there's a button that says Q&A, and there's another that says chat. If you, while you're listening, will type in your questions into either one of those areas, we will do Q&A on the last 10 or 15 minutes of the webinar, and we'll get your questions answered, as many as we can. So let me start by introducing our guest today, Christopher Bennett, local realtor extraordinaire. Christopher, welcome to our webinar about all things real estate and the market we're in. And if you would just give us a little snippet of your expertise and your background and tell us why we should listen to you. And we will dive right in.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Kathy. Good morning. My name is Christopher Bennett. I'm with Metro Brokers of Oklahoma Elite Group. My wife and I, we have a husband and wife team with Metro Brokers, and we've been realtors for 14 years. I'm also I have a broker's license, and I'm the branch broker for our office. And I actually am a fourth generation realtor. My great grandmother was a realtor in New York back in the 1940s, along with her sister. They had their own real estate office and everything in Bronxville, New York. So it's in my blood. My grandmother was in real estate, and my mom was too. So it's just something that I've always thought about doing. And about 14 years ago, my wife and I jumped in and started here in Oklahoma. So I also have a degree in human development and a master's in psychology and leadership. And so we've, in my bachelor's, I studied a lot of retirement communities and the ins and outs there. So I have a lot of knowledge on that side as well, and the different things that we need to do to prepare and for that. And so
Go ahead.
Sure.
Let's just dive right in, because people are wanting to hear what's going on out there. So give us your overall scenario of the market, the real estate market right now, and what is happening.
It's funny. Everybody's been asking me when I see them, they say, wow, you must be really busy right now. And I am, and I'm not. It's a different kind of market right now. There are, on the buyer side, buyers are having a hard time finding houses because there's not a lot of listings. So a lot of realtors are running around making offers on house after house and not getting them because they're running into 10, 15, 20 offers on one house. So that makes it very difficult to be a buyer, but very, very nice to be a seller, because you can put your house on the market. You can say, hey, showings only between this time and this time on Saturday, this time on Sunday. And by Sunday evening, you might have 3 offers, 5 offers, 10 offers, 20 offers, depending on the location and the house. So you can be a little bit more picky and choosy and say what you what kind of terms you like, no repairs, or maybe a higher price, and you will do some repairs. It's definitely a seller's market, so the seller can dictate what they want.
Time-wise, what are you seeing as far as time? Are people doing things like waiving inspections, waiving appraisals? What is going on as far as the time from the day you put it on the market till the day you are able to close on your property?
So for example, let's say, Kathy, we put your house on the market today. And I know you wouldn't want to, because you wouldn't have anywhere to go, probably.
That's right.
So the hard thing is finding a house after you sell it. But let's say we put your house on the market today. Today's Thursday. by Saturday or Sunday, we would probably have at least maybe 3 offers, 5 offers, as long as we did some other things to get your house ready. But when we were looking through the offers, we'd have a variation probably of just a regular offer with regular inspections and appraisals, but you probably would have 2 or 3 offers where they would say, we'll still do inspections, but we won't ask for anything unless it's something really big, like say it needs a new roof or something like that. But you might even get one. I had one last month that they completely waived inspections. And they also said that if the appraisal came in low, they would pay up to $21,000 over what the appraisal came in. So
Wow.
if it was a, say, $300,000 house and the appraisal came in at 280, they would get the loan based off of 280, and then they would come up with the $20,000 cash difference. So that's happening a lot. And we're also seeing a lot of cash offers, which don't even have an appraisal at all.
Right.
So that's not even an issue there.
So is this all over the metropolitan Oklahoma City area? Does this include Yukon and Mustang and Northwest
this is all the
Oklahoma
way
City, Edmond?
From Norman, Blanchard, Tuttle up to Guthrie, and from Shawnee all the way to El Reno. I mean, it's the entire metro area and the outskirts of the metro area.
Wow. Okay. All right. So, because of what we do here at Epworth, we talk to folks a lot about the housing market, when to list, when not to. So tell us and the audience here some of the things that they should be prepared for if they put the sign in the yard tomorrow. What should they be prepared for as far as timing and that kind of thing?
So as far as timing, you'd probably be looking at getting a contract for the house within 1 to 7 days, maybe 14 days. And that would be a very, very long time right now. And as far as what you'd be looking, and then the contract would close usually within 30 days. Sometimes you can say 60 days. In this market, even if you need a little bit more time, you could probably say 75 days or 90 days. And if somebody wants the house enough, they would wait.
So that's important, especially for the clients that we talk to, because their fear is that they have no time to pack and move and have an estate sale and get out. So you're saying because it's a seller's market, that is a lot more flexible now. People are willing to get the house they want to wait and give you some time in the house before you have to pack your bags and pick up and move.
Yeah, buyers are basically saying, hey, whatever you need, we're here for you to meet your needs. And it's usually the other way around, where the sellers are like, okay, what does the buyer want? What will make the buyer happy? But it's really the other way around. The buyers are just, hey, whatever you need, I'll do to make you happy and make it a good deal, especially when they're competing against 10 other people.
Yes. I have a question here, and it's actually what I was gonna ask you next, or pertaining to that. So there's a lot of things that in your head you think you need to do before you put that sign in the yard. There's that people say things like, I need to redo my bathroom. I need to retile this. I need to repaint the house. I need to do. Tell us what folks should really concentrate on and what not to worry about.
Right, that's a good question. So what we do in any market is we try to figure out what are the things that you can do that aren't going to cost a lot of money and aren't going to take a lot of time. Right now, there's less of those things, thankfully. But decluttering as much as you can, but you don't have to make it perfect, which is nice, because before we would really have to get a lot out of the house before we put it on the market, and that went for anybody. If there's something that an appraiser would tag, like something very obviously broken in the house, we'd probably want to have that fixed before putting it on the market. Having the yard looking good, the flower beds looking good, all those things help. But really, if you price it right, you shouldn't have to do too much. And so there's kind of a continuum of, if you want to get maximum amount for the house, then maybe we do a couple extras. If you're like, hey, I just want it to be easy, we can price it a little bit lower, and we still might get multiple offers and still might end up near the top of the market. So there's not as much as you would think that you have to do to the house, and every house is different. So we will take a look at the house and say, okay, yeah, we should do this and this, but maybe you're thinking about, remodeling a bathroom or redoing a kitchen or something like that. And there's really nothing major that you need to do right now. And some of them, sometimes we can even if it is something obviously broken, we can put it on the market and we can put on the realtor notes, this will be fixed before closing. And then that gives you time to do it. And, when they see it, they'll say, okay, yeah, the hole in the wall or whatever it might be will be fixed.
So something as obvious as, like, say, a cracked window or something really obvious, you can put that caveat in the listing, or not.
Or not. I just had one of my buyers purchased in Valencia, and it was a $300,000 home, and it had a cracked window, and we did the inspections. There was problems with a few of the windows, and we didn't ask for those to be fixed. And there was 15 offers on that house.
Wow.
And it went for about $26,000 over list price. And the appraisal ended up coming in at $285, and we were under contract for $301, and the buyers are paying the difference. So buyers are really bending over backward to get the right house that they like. And so there are still, there are still neighborhoods that are more desirable, that people will do more for. I have another one in the village, and we got right at list price, and we are doing some repairs from the inspections, nothing major, but like a little leak here, replace an outlet, and things that a handyman could do. So it does vary still from neighborhood to neighborhood and area to area and house to house. But generally speaking, like the little house in the village, it was a complete remodel. We probably, in a different market, maybe a year or two ago, would have had to pay $6,000 of the buyer's closing costs, and probably would have come off a little bit off the list price. But now we just, right at list price.
That's a good point you just brought up, because folks that we typically talk to that are getting ready to list their house to move here typically either have a paid off home or tons of equity. And last year, you're exactly right. People would have asked them to pay a lot of their equity towards someone else's purchase. That's not happening. So along with an exorbitant list price and or over ask, you're not going to be paying thousands of dollars, or be asked to probably, of closing costs for a buyer. That's a huge amount of money.
Yeah, it can be anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000 right there, and then plus a lot of the repairs. The one that waived inspections, that house had a lot of repairs that had been kind of put off over time, and they didn't have to do any of them, and they still sold it for over list price.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to start, and I'm going to encourage people to put their questions in here. I'm going to start kind of digging into the questions, because I really want to answer what people want to know. This listener says, if I want to get top dollar for my home, do I have to sell now? Will this strong market last? That's like a crystal ball moment, but what is your, we're not asking you to predict the future, but
sure.
I know how the market is. It's up one day, down the next, but it's been strong for a while. So what do you think?
Well, the market definitely can be finicky. I think we're going to still be in a strong market for a little while, but as things are already starting to shift a teeny bit, and so I don't think we're going to get to a point where housing prices are going to drop, but they'll probably start to plateau, and then you'll see this, sellers over here in this position, buyers down here, maybe start to shift a little bit, so it's a little bit even, and see less bidding wars on houses, less situations where people are willing to pay $20,000 over appraisal and not ask for repairs and things like that. So I think it will shift a little bit where it's not quite as easy, and you can't be as particular about what you want as a seller. So I think that will shift here soon. As interest rates start to rise, there's probably going to be another pop where lots of buyers go out because they're scared that interest rates are going to keep going up. But for the immediate future, I think we're fine. But as we get into fall and next spring, I'm not sure how things might shift.
Let me ask you this. One of the things that people consider when putting their home on the market, they kind of want to know if they are going to get what they want or what they're expecting from their home before they make a decision to move forward to where they're going. That could be a huge mistake. You asked me a little while ago when we started if I was to put my house on the market. Actually, my neighbor's house went on the market for almost $105,000 more than they purchased it for a couple of years ago. And I have no doubt they got multiple offers that went way over ask. Good for me as far as a value, but if I sold it and got top dollar, I'd have to probably rent for a year or two whenever this market falls out, or maybe less than that. I don't know, before I could buy something else, because there isn't anything. The sweet spot of the market is really, what would you say, between 150,000 to 350. I see a lot of $1 million homes on the for sale right now, $1.5 million. A lot of those high-end houses are going up. But where is the real, what we're talking about, the quick over ask multiple offer market? Where is that?
Say, from zero up to about, I used to say 300, but right now it's been about 400. So that one that we sold in just a few days, and they waived inspections and everything, was right at 400,000. So between 100 and 400. So it does seem like the 200 to 300 range is really, really hot right now. But anywhere from 0 to 400. But even with that said, another one was it 690 or 700, and it sold in 2 days. So it doesn't really matter the price range so much now, which is another advantage for sellers, that no matter what the price. And we're also seeing, and I saw the inspector kind of rolling his eyes. We're seeing a lot of hard to sell houses being put on the market right now, which makes sense if it's a hard to sell house because it, next to a really, really busy road, or it's just really quirky, or maybe the neighbor's house doesn't look so great, so it's kind of hard to sell the house in the normal market. We're seeing a lot more houses with maybe more put off maintenance put on the market. And so that's why the inspector was kind of rolling his eyes, because he's like, yeah, I've got all these houses I'm inspecting are a lot tougher than they used to be. So a lot of sellers are using this time as an advantage to be able to say, okay, well, it's a good house. It might have some quirky things, and the buyers are okay with that. So yeah.
So I have a couple of questions here. And this one may be directed towards me more than you, but we'll discuss it. Has the selling market also increased the cost of moving to a retirement community? Well, I can only speak for us here at Epworth. Our entry fee prices, we're a life plan community, so we have entry fee that is a one-time fee that kind of gives you a life plan for managing the aging process now and down the road. Our entry fees have not gone up for at least 3 years. So do the math. You can get more for your house than you've ever seen before, ever in the market. But the cost of moving to Epworth hasn't changed in 3 years on the entry fee side. That's an incentive, I think, for people that have been waiting. No more time to wait. If you want to have dollars ahead and still take advantage of our lower prices before they go up, good time to do it. I have one more question. What is the best, and this is excellent, this is for you, what is the best way to find out how much I can get for my home? So talk to us a little bit about what you do when someone calls you, what your process is, what people should expect from a good real estate agent.
Good question. So first off, I would say the worst way to find out how to get the value of your home is to look at your tax assessment or online at Zillow or something at the Zestimate. I always say the Zestimate is accurate within about $200,000 up or down. So
that's not very specific, Christopher.
Yeah, I always say the A in Zillow stands for accurate. There's no A in Zillow. So the best way though is to have a realtor that knows the area, that can pull the comparable sales. They shouldn't really be looking at 6 to 12 months, but really in the last 90 days at the sales. And they really need to be able to look at those comparables, not just look at the numbers, but be able to look at the pictures of the house, see the upgrades or the lack of upgrades that other houses have compared to yours, and come in person and look at your entire house and be able to evaluate, this is how much we can get for this house. Right now, if you do nothing to it, and if we do a few things, this is how much we can get for it. But they really, if anybody tells you how much your house is worth and they haven't physically come by and looked at it and asked you questions about, what you've done to the house, or maybe some maintenance that needs to be done, that would be the best way.
Great advice. I wanted you to talk a little bit about pictures, because people are buying houses differently than they did 20 years ago. How important is it in choosing a real estate agent about how they advertise your house and what will be the moving factor in you getting an optimum price and fairly quickly?
Right. So I would say you want a real estate agent that's, unless this is what you want, but you want a real estate agent that can come by and tell you, okay, let's maybe remove these pictures off the wall, maybe remove everything from the kitchen countertops, do a few things that might not cost money, but are going to make the pictures look better. And then also you need a realtor that isn't going to just take their phone and snap pictures around the house. You want a realtor who out of their own pocket is going to hire a professional photographer to come in, take pictures of the entire house and the outside of the house. And if it's necessary for the type of house, maybe if it's on acreage, maybe do a drone shot so you can get aerial view. Sometimes we even do a Matterport, which gives people a virtual tour so they can kind of walk through the house. I think it's very similar to what you have on some of your places there.
Yeah, we have floor plans on our website, plus virtual tours that kind of have a gallery of pictures that walk you through each room of the house and the yard and all of that. That's great advice. People, are they buying a house if they're out of town sight unseen from the pictures? Have you seen that?
I have seen that. So you definitely want to make the pictures look the best you can. We do a good job of, our photographers do a good job of making it look the best that we can make them look, but not unrealistic. We don't want them to get to the house and say, where was the house that I saw in the pictures? So, we don't filter the pictures to make it look unrealistic, but we want the best. Just like when you try to find the best possible picture for yourself, you want it to look great, but you also want it to look like you. So when somebody meets you, they're not like, who is this? Not the same person I saw in the picture.
Right. I have a couple of great questions here. One, can I get some help decluttering? So a lot of our clients can be pretty overwhelmed by the process, especially if they've been in their home a long time.
Yeah.
Decluttering
Mm-hmm.
and making those decluttering decisions. Do you have someone that you refer people to? I know we would refer them to our move management company, Senior Transitions, to come in and declutter and box up things and put it in the garage or put it off site, just to give them the space they need so people can see the house, not only in the pictures, but in real life. Do you have someone like that and resources that you refer folks to?
We do have different resources. I say that Senior Transitions does a great job too. So it just depends on what the best fit is.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't get too hung up on the decluttering though. I did suggest that, but before you go through doing a ton of decluttering and everything, I think it's good to meet with a good realtor
First,
to be able to look at it first, because it might not be as bad as you think, or your house might be in such a desirable area that it doesn't matter, that you declutter. You're still going to get top dollar for your house because of the way that the market is.
Don't do a lot of work if you don't need to. Right.
Yeah, they're like, okay, it's on the right street. It's a competitive price, and this is where I want to be, and it has a roof and it has 4 walls, so I want it. So they might not be that picky,
right.
If it is, you've lived in the house for 40 years and you just have a lot of stuff that's just how life goes.
Right. And one of the things I was going to mention, speaking of decluttering, one of the things that on our webinar with Amber from Senior Transitions, she said, don't pack things before we get there. If we're doing your pack and move, because we need to know what's in there and take pictures of it so that we know what happens to it when it comes out of the box. I thought that was great advice. I have another really good question. I'm cleaning out closets and preparing for a yard sale. Should I continue with that or box everything up and donate it so I can get the house on the market? That's a personal preference, but what would you say?
I would say whatever is easier for you. If you enjoy doing yard sales, then do that. But if it's much easier just to donate it and it's going to be less hassle for you and you rather do that than do that. But I don't really like to sit out and wait for people to come and buy things. So I would probably try to either sell online, or many times we just donate, because it's just much easier. You get a tax write-off, and somebody in need will get something.
Right.
Value.
The percentage of people that like to do yard sales probably is like the lowest. I hate to do a yard sale. Oh,
yeah. I would say donate it. It's going to be a lot of work to do the yard sale and probably be kind of stressful. I got some of my old baseball cards out, and they're all over the dining room table still. And I've been thinking about selling them and how to do it. And I finally just got to the point where I'm like, I'm either just going to put them back in a box, but it's just a lot of work to try to value each and every little thing, especially when you're looking at, okay, this is worth $1, this is worth $3,
I would almost recommend, if you have some things that you want to sell that are furniture pieces or art or something, find somebody to consign them and sell them in their store and move on, and let someone else help you get that money in the bank. One more. I have a note here from someone that says that she just moved from California July 20th, and they bought their home here in Edmonds sight unseen.
Wow.
So yes, we have a testimonial of how that worked. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, let's just we're almost finished, but I would just like to wrap it up here with you, Christopher, by saying this is good information. So let's recap. Let's talk about what to do to find out what your house is actually worth. Get a good realtor, make sure they come to your house. I'm going to let you give your contact information before we jump off this, so if folks want to contact you, they can. So get a good realtor.
Yeah, and a good realtor meaning you want somebody that's professional, but also that's been in the business, I would say, more than 5 or 10 years, and that's been active in the business, and it's not their side job, but they do it professionally, and they do it all the time. I wouldn't hire a relative that was new to the market, or somebody that you feel obligated to use. I would try to find the very best person that's a good fit for you. And also the good fit, I mean, it could be somebody that's professional, they know what they're doing, they've been doing it for a long time, but your personalities don't mesh, and that's okay. So don't feel like you have to use somebody just because you know they're a relative, or they're a friend of a friend, and you feel like that you have to. You try to find somebody that's a good fit, that's going to help you.
So once you do that, take their advice about what to do and not to do on your house.
That's good advice.
What not to fix.
Taking your realtor's advice is very good advice.
And with their expectations and expertise, have a plan of what you're going to do after you get more than you expected for your home. Have a plan. That's when you call us. Call Epworth if you need a plan. We have availability. We have great apartments and cottages ready to go, and no wait list. So have a plan. And then what would you say in wrapping up that you want people to take away from our visit today, especially?
Well, I would say try not to get overwhelmed. It's probably, I mean, moving is always tough, but it's probably not as hard as you're thinking it's going to be to transition. And we'll have people to help with the move and everything, and then the showings for the house and getting the house under contract. Right now, it's the easiest time that it's ever been. So just try not to get overwhelmed, and have a realtor come by, take a look at everything. Most realtors, or many, aren't going to try to pressure you into listing at that second. They'll come by and look at the house and evaluate it. So if you call me and you'd like for me to come by, I'd be happy to come by, take a look at the house, say, okay, this is about how much we can get for it, and set up the expectations, and see if it's the right time for you or not. But it's really no obligation. It doesn't. I don't charge anything to come out. It'll be a free evaluation. So,
we'll let you give your information real quick, Christopher, because we offered free evaluations as a part of our webinar today. So right before we do that, I have one more question I want to squeak in here. What is the going rate real estate agencies are getting for selling a home? I know that is variable. Standard in the industry is 6%, 3% on each side, if that is in fact what you have two realtors involved.
Now, we're not allowed to say what a standard rate is because of antitrust laws and things like that. But we charge 6%, and 3% goes to the buyer's agent, and 3% to the seller's or the listing agent and the buyer's agent. So 3% and 3%, which is a total of 6%. And most realtors I know do the same thing.
Yeah.
So, and then some realtors will charge you for professional photography, for a transaction fee when you close. Sometimes it's $200 or $300. And
do you do that? Do you do that, Christopher?
I do not do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you give your contact information, phone number, name again, so people can write it down, get a pen and a piece of paper if you need a free evaluation from Christopher Bennett and his lovely wife.
Yeah. So it's Christopher Bennett, Bennett. My phone number is 405-819-1434. That's 819-1434. And it's Metro Brokers of Oklahoma. and our branch is Elite Group, so Metro Brokers of Oklahoma Elite Group. We're out of Edmond, but we service the entire metro area, and I have experience selling all the way from Tuttle, Blanchard, Norman up to Guthrie, and east to west, Hera all the way to El Reno.
Do you have a website people could go to as well?
Yeah, the website address is edmond.realestate. That's the easiest way to get there.
Edmond.realestate.com.
There's no .com. No .com.
Oh, Edmond.realestate.
Yeah, just edmond.realestate. Real simple. It's a new domain extension. So edmond.realestate. No .com. Just Edmond.
But you sell all over the metro, so not just Edmond. Okay.
Not just Edmond. Certainly not just Edmond, but that was the easiest domain name that was available, and we do live in Edmond. But when we started, we were in Northwest Oklahoma City. That's where our office was, but we're familiar with the entire area. If you're outside of the areas that I talked about, the metro area and surrounding areas, then we have realtors that we partner with, and we can help if maybe you're 2 hours out of town or something like that.
Great. Well, we'll wrap it up. Thank you so much. You gave great information. I think you helped some folks. And Epworth Villa is Oklahoma City's premier retirement community, and our number here to get in touch with anyone in independent living, assisted living, memory support. We do take direct admits to those areas as well. Long-term care. Our skilled nursing rehab is a popular place if you are recovering from a surgery or something. So a lot of folks discover us that way. Our number here is 405-752-1200. And we thank you for joining us today. Call Christopher and his team to get a free evaluation. And I hope you all have good success in selling your homes and get more for it than you ever dreamed.
Oh, Kathy, one last thing to add.
Sure.
A lot of times people have teams, realtors have teams, and you get handed off to different people throughout the process. But when you call me and my wife, you'll be working with me from the very, very beginning to the very, very end when you sell and you get moved. So you're not going to ever get handed off to somebody and
Great to know.
be able to call and get the right information.
Right. You're not going to get their assistant. Got
I'll
it.
hold your hand all the way through.
That's great. Okay. Thank you all for joining. We're going to wrap it up. Thanks, Christopher, for your insight, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Appreciate you.